You've picked up your phone about 96 times today. You probably don't remember most of them. You didn't decide to check it. Your hand just moved. Your thumb just swiped. And 20 minutes later, you looked up and wondered where the time went. You think this is a willpower problem. It's not. There are engineers with neuroscience degrees who spent years designing the exact moment your thumb moves toward that app icon. And they'll tell you themselves, on the record, in interviews, in court testimony, they built it to be exactly this hard to put down. Let's start with the chemical. Dopamine. You've heard the word. Most people think it's the pleasure chemical. That's not quite right. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about anticipation. Basically, dopamine fires before the reward arrives, not after. It's your brain's prediction system. It spikes when something might be good, not when something is confirmed good, which means the most powerful dopamine hit doesn't come from getting a text. It comes from not knowing if you got one. Here's where it gets interesting. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran experiments on pigeons. He put them in boxes with a lever. Peck the lever, get a food pellet. Some pigeons got food every single time they pecked. Simple, predictable, boring. Other pigeons got food randomly, sometimes after one peck, sometimes after 20, no pattern, no way to predict it. Guess which pigeons pecked the lever more? Guess which pigeons couldn't stop? The random group, by a landslide. Skinner called it variable ratio reinforcement, and it's the exact mechanism behind a slot machine, and it's the exact mechanism behind your phone. Tristan Harris used to work at Google. He was a design ethicist there. His literal job was thinking about the psychology of the products Google built. He left, and when he left, he said something that should terrify you. Several billion people have a slot machine in their pocket, he said. When we pull our phone out, we're playing a slot machine to see what notifications we've received. Not a metaphor, a description of the actual mechanism. Every time you check your phone, you don't know what you'll find. Maybe nothing, maybe a message from someone you like, maybe 100 likes on a post, maybe nothing again. Your brain doesn't habituate to that. It can't. Uncertainty is the fuel. Predictability would kill the addiction instantly. So they made sure it stays unpredictable. Now let's talk about the person who invented infinite scroll. His name is Ozza Roskin. He built it in 2006. He was trying to solve a simple design problem. How do you make a web page load content smoothly without forcing users to click next page? It worked. Too well. Years later, Roskin said this publicly. Behind every screen on your phone, there are generally 1,000 engineers who have worked to try to make it maximally addicting. He also compared what happened to his invention to sprinkling behavioral cocaine over your interface. The man who built it used the word cocaine because before infinite scroll, there was a natural stopping point. You'd reach the bottom of a page. Your brain would get a signal, done here. Infinite scroll removed that signal completely. There's no bottom, there's no done. Your brain waits for a stopping cue that never arrives, so it just keeps scrolling. There's another engineer whose name you should know, Loren Brichter. He built pull to refresh for Twitter, the gesture where you pull down and the app refreshes with new content. He later told The Guardian something direct. Pull to refresh is addictive. Twitter is addictive. These are not good things. Think about the mechanics of that gesture for a second. You pull down, you physically wait, then something appears or doesn't. That's not a refresh button. That's a slot machine lever disguised as a design feature. You are physically performing the exact motion of pulling a slot machine arm dozens of times a day without realizing it. Here's what's happening in your brain while all this occurs. Researchers have used brain scans to study this. They found that the reward circuit lighting up in phone addicts and drug addicts is nearly identical. Same regions, same neurons, same mechanism. Specifically, two areas, the nucleus accumbens and the anterior cingulate cortex. These are the regions responsible for craving and reward anticipation. Basically, your brain doesn't fully distinguish between craving a notification and craving a drug. The neural pathway is the same pathway. But there's a second part of your brain involved in this, and it's the part that should be protecting you. The prefrontal cortex. This is your executive control center. It's responsible for impulse control, long-term planning, the ability to say not right now to an immediate temptation. Here's the problem. Studies have found that heavy smartphone use is associated with weaker prefrontal cortex activity over time. The part of your brain designed to resist compulsive behavior gets worn down by the compulsive behavior itself. It's a loop. the more you use it, the weaker your ability to resist using it becomes. Which means the willpower explanation isn't just unkind, it's biologically wrong. You're not weak. Your prefrontal cortex is fighting a system engineered by people who specifically studied how to overwhelm it. Let's talk about the man who ran user growth at Facebook, Chamath Palihapitiya. In 2017, he stood in front of Stanford students and said this: "We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. I feel tremendous guilt." He wasn't a random critic. He built the growth engine himself. And he's not alone. Justin Rosenstein co-created the Facebook like button. He later said he limits his own screen time deliberately because he understands exactly what he built. The people who designed these systems are now warning you about them. That should tell you something. Here's the uncomfortable math behind all of this. Every second you spend on your phone generates data. That data trains an algorithm. That algorithm gets better at predicting exactly what will make you stay longer. You're not just using the app, you're training it. Every scroll, every pause, every like teaches the system a little more about your specific psychological weak points. The app gets smarter about you every single day. You don't get smarter about resisting it. It's not designed for that outcome. So what does this actually mean? It means the shame you feel about checking your phone too much is misplaced. You're not fighting a personal failing. You're fighting a system built by teams of engineers funded by billions of dollars using principles discovered through decades of behavioral psychology research, specifically engineered to exploit the oldest reward circuitry in your brain. B.F. Skinner's pigeons didn't have a choice either. Once the variable reward pattern kicked in, the behavior became almost involuntary. You're not a pigeon, but your brain runs on the same basic reward chemistry that pigeons did, and the people who built your phone know that better than you do. This isn't a call to blame technology and give up. It's something more useful than that. Once you understand that the mechanism is external, engineered, and deliberate, you stop treating every scroll as evidence of your own weakness. You start treating it as what it actually is, a designed system working exactly as intended, on a brain that evolved for a completely different world. Your ancestors' brains needed to notice threats, rewards, and social information quickly. That instinct kept them alive. The people who built your phone didn't create a new instinct. They found the oldest one you have, and they built a machine specifically shaped to trigger it, over and over, forever. You didn't fail at willpower. You met an opponent that was never a fair fight to begin with.